All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning. Okay, let's see. We've got teacher Stephanie. Hello. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Jasmine. And Mavis. And Hashem. Hello, Jason. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Hamid. Hello, Lei. Lei, this is the class for you. Today is open question. Right? So you can ask me whatever questions you have today. This is the class. Okay? Monday and Friday, those are 2 days that are good for asking me just about anything you want. Okay? I really should probably take these off. What style of drummer am I? Really, Heba, I play anything. I have played almost every kind of music you can imagine. Rock, blues, jazz, funk, Latin, pop, country, funk, R&B, soul, classical music. I've played lots of styles of music, and I love every kind of music. You know, there are only two kinds of music: good music and the other kind. And I'm fine, Jason. How are you? Nada has a question about the word streamlined. What about it, Nada? What about that word? You can raise your hand and come on stage if you want to. Sure, why not? Let's talk to Nato.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, Nato.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm pretty good. And you're in Brazil.
Yeah.
Where? Are you in Rio, Sao Paulo? Where?
No, I'm Minas Gerais.
Gerais, where's that?
Minas Gerais. It's a
Minas
state
Gerais.
close to São Paulo,
Oh, okay. All right.
but it's in the middle.
Okay, in the middle. All right. Okay, that helps me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what's your question about streamlined?
The streamlined, it's these days I watching a video in YouTube about Olympic Games and how the technology can get the athletes so good, and it's actually cheating. And the point is the automatic subtitles. Translate subtitles, translate streamlined to aerodynamic. And
Not quite. Yeah.
But in the point when this it's about the like swimsuits that make swimmer's body too streamlined, and for me it's too streamlined and aerodynamic. Aerodynamic it's about air, it's not about
Right.
water.
That's exactly
And,
right. Yeah. So fluid dynamics and aerodynamics are very similar. There are things that are very similar about them. But yeah, that is the big difference. Aerodynamics is about air, and this streamlining is talking about the original meaning of the word is it actually means a line that you draw from point to point. But what that means, it's like in the flow of the river. Imagine that. Like when you streamline something, it's making something, put it this way, it's kind of like the phrase go with the flow. Go with the flow means this is the way the water is moving this way, so you should go with the flow. It means streamlining things makes things, it flows more towards that direction. It's flowing with it, not against it, right? So streamlining and aerodynamics are similar in that way because they have the same goal of making something flow or move more smoothly through air or water. Right, so they share a relationship in their meaning, but just through different mediums, right? Air and water, right? Or gases and liquids, I should say. But really, I think it's easier if you just think about what aerodynamics is about, making things go through the air more smoothly with less what's the word I'm looking for? Not friction, less resistance. That's the word I was looking for. Less resistance, and same thing with streamlining is trying to create something with less resistance or more towards the flow of what we're doing. Right. So when you streamline things, it usually means trying to make something work better.
Okay. Because I asked GPT Chat for, I give him all this content for explain me, and I just thought this is just for aerodynamic or hydrodynamic, but maybe this. It's maybe neutron. You don't specify.
Yeah, streamline is actually almost a general word now. We use streamlining for lots of things. Business, it's a business term. In business, it means we need to streamline this business. It means to cut out everything that's not working well and make things flow better, make things work better, make it more efficient, right? Streamlining your process would be, again, same thing, making your process work better. It's all about the word flow, fluid flows, right? So go with the flow, right? Make things flow better. Streamlining, it's all about just improving, increasing the efficiency of something, reducing the resistance of things. And it has both a figurative and a literal meaning. Right? So the literal meaning is if you put something in the water, we're talking about streamlining it to make it flow more with the water, right? But streamlining has a much bigger, more general sense now.
That's the point, because I thought maybe this don't use just for aerodynamic or hydrodynamic. I can use in different points, but I'm not sure, because GPT Chat in this specific case create a confuse in my mind, and I'm not sure about this. I need to ask someone. I try ask another guys here, and someone don't know how to do this, and it's a different question. Okay, I need to ask this for that teacher, because of course I have.
Right. Yeah.
And the correct pronouns for hydrodynamic, it's hydrodynamic or hydrodynamic?
Hydrodynamics.
Hydro,
yeah. Hydrogen, hydrogen and hydrodynamics. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes the way to find, if you're confused about a word, sometimes the way to find out more about it, to clear your mind, is to find out where the word comes from originally. And if you figure out where the word comes from, so there's an app I use called Etym Online. I'll type it for you.
Okay.
Etymology. It means the history of where words come from and how they've changed over time. Etymology, right? And this is a website. It's a free website. They have an app also, and it's like a dictionary, but it's a dictionary of it'll tell you where the word came from, what language is it originally from, what did it originally mean, is there any cool story behind it that maybe will help you remember or understand the meaning better. You can even see how the spelling has changed over time. So for example, the word tea. We say tea now, T-E-A, right? But the earlier pronunciation, it was it's tea now. Before that, it was te. The pronunciation was te, and that's because they were kind of mispronouncing the Indian word for tea, which is chai. And the Indians got the word chai from the Chinese word for tea, which is cha. So cha became chai, chai became te, te became tea. And it's interesting to follow the words and see how they've changed over time. And it's all because there are reasons, right? Why do they change? It's because of people moving from place to place and new people interacting and people mispronouncing words or accents changing things, so anyway, etymology is my hobby, and sometimes it's really, really useful, especially if you're at a stage like you are, right? So next time you ask ChatGPT something about a word, you can also say, please give me the etymology of this word and explain any other possible uses literally or figuratively, because also there are many words that have a literal meaning and a figurative meaning, right? So in this case, there's both, right? But I love etymology. Sometimes it's really, really interesting to find, wow, I didn't know where that came from. That's cool, I'm trying to think. So just the other day, I found the word gossip, to talk about people, right? It's spelled Gossip, right? And the SIP at the end is actually related to the word sibling, SIBLING. Sibling means your brothers and sisters, right? And the original word sib, means blood relation, right? So why is gossip about your brothers and sisters? Because who did you gossip with first? You'd come home and talk to who? Your brothers and sisters. Those are the close people to you, right? So that's who did you hear what happened to this person? And, you'd talk to your brothers and sisters about what happened, right? But that's cool. That's interesting. Now the word gossip has another, something that you can remember about, oh, well, that's interesting. It's a story, right? And when you're learning vocabulary words, there are so many words. You need tricks. You need tips. You need something interesting to make it easier to remember. Memorizing it is just trying to memorize 20,000 English words. Good luck. But if you have some ways to remember them because it's interesting, right? Your brain is very, very simple. Guys, your brain is so simple. It doesn't like boring. It likes interesting. So why would you want to make a process boring like memorizing when you could do something interesting? And the efficiency of your brain is far greater when you work with something interesting, right? When you do things that are boring, the efficiency of your brain, it's down the tubes. And your brain doesn't like boring. It's like intellectual torture.
I like it sometimes. Search about the word and not where it came from, but situations how like this, for example, just streamline it. This open a big knowledge with me, because I just asked about another's words here, and GPT chat explained me something, and no, you are wrong, and I try to do, and I really, this situation makes me memorize the things.
So ChatGPT is one of those things where I use it every day, and I would say 95% of the time it's really good. But I would say 95% of the time it works really well for me, and the reason why is because the secret of ChatGPT is you have to give it a good question to get a good answer. So if you give it a simple question, then it won't give you a good answer. But if you ask it properly and you're clear, if you're very clear about everything you want, please tell me what streamlining means. Tell me where it comes from. Tell me how I can use it. Show me some example sentences, please. Anything like that. If you make it longer and make it more detailed, then it will, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Let me do that.
No, for the GPT chat, you need to maybe spend the time for this. I asked ChatGPT about this, and why is not about hydrodynamic? Because hydrodynamic, it's about this, and I explained ChatGPT what is a hydrodynamic, it's what is a aerodynamic, and why in United States, for example, because this video it's made in the United States, they call this streamlined, because maybe it makes sense for me. For example, in Portuguese, aerodynamic, it's aerodynamic, and hydrodynamic, it's
right.
Hydrodynamic. It's close, the words make the same content, same means the same, but maybe in United States use different. And I give all this context for him explain me so good how like you, but this little part is confused for me, because I use just in the concept to the aerodynamic and the hydrodynamic, or I can use in the different context, and that's the point GPT chat fail. But the 95% will explain completely amazing.
Right. And you know what I would say is, the word streamlined began as only about liquid, but now has a more general meaning. So I would say aerodynamics is a form of streamlining. Okay? What do we do when you do aerodynamics? What do? They put something into a tunnel and they blow wind over it so that they can see how the wind goes over the thing, right? And what are they looking for? They're looking for the lines. And if the lines are too much like this, then it's not aerodynamic. But if the lines flow nicely and it's almost a straight line, would be perfect aerodynamics. There's no resistance because there's nothing to resist, right? But when you have an object there, now it has to go over that object. But if the object is like a block, then it's gonna the lines will not be nice, right? But if it's got a nice car, right, like a Porsche car or something like that, right? You put a Porsche in there, the air is going to go over it beautifully, nice and smoothly, right? So again, somebody might look at that and say, those aerodynamics have been streamlined really well, which would mean that clearly somebody designed the car well for the lines to move smoothly. And so I would say possibly that the word streamlining began only as hydrodynamics, but now has a greater meaning that's more general, that just means to make something flow better in general. Right? And so aerodynamics now would be a form of streamlining. Okay. And it's funny because I was searching, here's part of the problem. Aerodynamics, as far as I can find, doesn't have a word that means the same, like to make something more aerodynamic, right? So we have, right? And that's what streamlining offers that. That's why it became a greater meaning. Originally, it was just the same, like you were saying, hydrodynamics and aerodynamics. But then it became just a greater, figurative meaning of making something flow better somehow. Yeah.
Maybe streamlining it's neutron, and how like you say the airplane, it's a hydrodynamic aircraft. Guys say no.
Right.
It's aerodynamic.
That's right.
It's a passionate about air, and but it's the same concept. It's
same
about
concept,
the fluid. It's
right?
About,
that's exactly right. It's about the streamlining. That's what you needed. Yeah, that's all. You just needed that word, and you just needed to understand the generalistic term that it has now. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, good. Yeah. And your English is great, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing really well.
Just study a little bit more grammar, because sometimes I just say in the present, but I fall about the past.
Right. Yeah, that's very common. But, remember.
But I hope if kindness you understand me, it's your problem to understand it's in the future, in the present, or in the past. For me, it doesn't matter.
That's right, yeah. Well, no, it's true, though. It's true. At the end of the day, it is true. Like, look, you have to remember, guys, life is not a grammar test. Okay, life is not a grammar test, one. And two, you'd be surprised. English or not just English, language. Humans are really good at understanding languages. So, if I go to your country and I can't speak Portuguese, if I look at somebody and I go, they're going to say, oh, you want something to eat. Oh, I get it. Yeah. If I do this, right? We can communicate in many, many ways, right? So, understanding things, you don't have to try so hard sometimes, right? And sometimes when you seek perfection, that's why you don't find it. Because you can't seek it. Right? So what I mean is you're looking for the perfect words and you're like, why can't I find the perfect words? Why can't I find? That's why, because you're looking. Perfect words come without thought. Right? So sometimes you guys probably say, wow, those words are really great, Teacher Mark. Guess what? I never said that before. Those words come out when it's like music, guys. It has to have inspiration to be beautiful, right? And inspiration comes usually, it's not something you do like in a rote manner, meaning like practice. No, it's like spontaneous, right? It's spontaneous. Inspiration is usually a spontaneous thing, right? I'm inspired, so I want to do something, right? So inspiration in words is the same way. Sometimes when you're seeking the perfect words, like, how can I say the perfect words? Let me use this big vocabulary word. I want to sound really smart. That is not the way. No, language is more like music. You have to try to just play the beautiful notes. And those come from inspiration, and those come from spontaneous feeling, right? So that's what I'm doing, is I'm looking in my head and I have feelings that I'm trying to describe to you. And then the words come as I feel, right? So I'm not looking for the words and then the feelings. I'm looking for the feelings and then the words. And that's how you get inspiration.
I put just a priority. It's communicate. I think about the past, the future, and the correct grammar. I can ask this later, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling embarrassing to speaking because I speak Portuguese. I living here for 32 years speaking in Portuguese, and I'm not living in Canada or in UK or United States. And I will have accents because I'm not American. And okay, New York and California and LA, for example, and Texas have a different accents. The accent of Texas, it's fucking amazing because it's peculiar. It's typical. And Indian people have different and have the accents. Arabic people have the same, and of course, because this is about the language. And English, for example, for me, it's a little bit more easy because in Portuguese I have accent here in my state. The R here in my state, it's how like in English, and different than São Paulo, for example.
Interesting.
Romance in English, it's romance in Portuguese.
Interesting.
Romance.
Interesting. Romance. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Wow. And for example, door in Portuguese, it's porta.
Porta.
This is the accent from my state, but in São Paulo is porta.
Yeah. Interesting.
But for me, it's easy. For example, porta, romance, and this is an advantage I have for speaking.
Sure. Yeah, right.
And every Brazilians make mistakes about this word because it's complicated. It's a different form to you say this letter, and for me it's natural. I have this natural advantage, for example.
So
it's difficult. For example, all the T8.
Right.
It's not. It's strange. It's a F sound, but it's a T. It's a oh my God, it's weird. But,
right. But it's almost fun. Always the reason why those words, like why is it a GH but it's silent, or why is it a GH but it's an F sound? That's all etymology. When you find out the history of the word, it'll tell you that. So, for example, the word though. THOUGH. Everybody wants to know why. Why do you have OUGH when you don't say anything, right? Well, there is a good reason, because the original pronunciation was different. The original pronunciation was thoch. and it had that same sound. We used to have that sound in English. We do not really have it anymore. I think there are maybe one or two words that kind of use it a little bit, but not really. So this word came from Old English Germanic, and there were many words that had this GH sound that the scribes, they didn't know how to write it. Like, how do we write the sound? Like, what letters do we use to write? And they thought about it for a long time. There were a bunch of years where maybe they would write it with a GH, maybe they would write it with a, an FH or a TH. I don't know. Just like they had many different ideas of what it could be, and they weren't sure. Eventually, they decided GH was the closest they could come up with, and so that's what they wrote down. And then suddenly, there was something called the Great Vowel Shift that happened in the English language. And it's this weird period in history that we still can't really explain, where suddenly a lot of English sounds changed. We don't know why. I mean, the people have been studying it for decades and decades, trying to understand what happened where all of a sudden these sounds just changed all this. But that's what happened. And so many words became different, right? And again, if you find out the etymology, sometimes you'll say like, oh, well, that's why it's pronounced that way. Like the word, there's an English word that's actually from French, ennui. Ennui, do you guys know that word? It's a fun word. It basically it means like you're kind of bored and dissatisfied and kind of worn down, right? So you feel a sense of ennui, right? But it's spelled ENNUI. ENNUI, but why do we pronounce it that way? Because it's a French word. It's a French word, and 30% of the words in English are from French. 20% of the words in English are from German. 60% of the words in English are from Latin or Greek. We have words that come from Arabic and from Persian and from Hindi, and that's part of why English is complicated. The word shampoo comes from Hindi. The word algebra comes from Arabic. The word school and book and kindergarten, those are German. Restaurant and machine and ennui and cafe, those are French. And it's interesting, to know that. And that's when you know that, then you start to say like, oh, well, that's why it's complicated. That's why it's complicated. Yeah. So anyway, Nata, yeah. Well, good questions, and thank you for coming to talk to me. And one more thing before I go about accents. Many people come here and they want to work on their accent and they want to sound like me. And I tell them, you don't need to. Especially in a case like you sound great. There is no need for you to change your accent or your pronunciation at all. Yes, you have a Brazilian Portuguese accent. So what? It's clear. That's the point, right? So the analogy that I tell people is if I gave you a box of crayons, right? And kids love crayons. They love to color, right? Because why? There are many colors. Right? All the different colors they can choose, right? Your accent is your color. So, but if I ask you to write your name and your crayon is not sharp, then you can't really write your name very clearly. So what should you do? Should you change colors or should you sharpen your crayon?
I really don't know where came this idea we don't need to have accents, because in the United States, it's a big country. And inside the United States, you have a different accents from this. And when I sometimes in social media have some gurus from Brazil teaching English, maybe they never traveling around the world, for example, just to stay here in Brazil and just say this, you need to lose your accent and for what?
Well, there is a reason why. There are a few reasons why. One reason is because actually the majority of languages in the world, they do want you to really get the accent correct, right? So if I speak French and my accent is not very good, probably someone's going to tell me. If I speak German and my accent's not very good, probably someone's going to tell me. Somebody might even be upset. right? But English, especially American English, this is a land of immigrants, right? So my mother's family came from Ireland. They had an accent. My father's family came from Slovakia. They had an accent. And the girl at the post office, she's Indian. She has an accent. My neighbor's from Taiwan. He has an accent. We have another neighbor from Germany. They have an accent, right? So this is a land of accents. Right? And you are right. Even within the United States, there are many accents. I live in Ohio. We have 3 accents just in my state. Right? Yeah. So you're correct about that. And in England also, they have multiple accents in England, not just one. Many accents, right? So the point is that your accent doesn't need to be perfect. Like, you're not trying to adopt. What you're trying to get is clarity, right? The only problem is if you speak and somebody looks at you like this, then that's a problem, right?
No, I need a try to speak more or better, but sometimes more articulated, I think, because some language, how like Indian, for example, if they speak for inside, when the mouth is closed.
That's right. We talk about this all the time. American English is what I call a big mouth language. If you want to sound good with American English, you must use a big mouth like I am. That's why I speak clearly, because my mouth is really open and big. But some languages, that language is opposite to that. So Indian languages, for example, Hindi and Telugu, and also Chinese, small mouth languages. So those students, when I have students from those areas, I always tell them, you must make your mouth bigger. Just like I speak Chinese. When I speak Chinese, I have to make my mouth smaller, or it sounds weird, right?
So in French, it's the same. You need to speak more.
Oh, French is really like French. I feel like when I speak French, like the French accent, I feel like it's like somebody put 3/4 in my mouth, and then like I have to speak with 3/4 in my mouth. I don't know how to do it. It's like the tongue is really the position of the tongue in French inside the mouth is so difficult. But yeah, every language has grammar and vocabulary, but it also has mouth movements. And why do you have an accent? If you have an accent, it's because you're using English words. You're using English words and you're using English grammar, but your mouth is still moving like your language, right? Yeah. So you have to figure out, does that need to be improved? Sometimes it doesn't need to be improved. Maybe it's clear enough that it's not a problem. But occasionally, it is a problem. If you can't say a TH, maybe that's a problem. You might need to work on it, right? If you have certain words that you really can't pronounce well and people have trouble understanding you, then you need to work on that, right? So pronunciation, the goal of pronunciation does not need to be perfection. The goal of pronunciation needs to be clarity.
Yeah. I have one question I forgot, but you remember me now.
Reminded me now.
And find out. I can use the same or particularly one or other.
Figure it out.
The two forms to stay the same.
Sure. Figure it out versus find out. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're slightly different, right? Find out just means find the information, like ask someone, So what time does the movie start? Let me find out. I'll ask him, What time does the train arrive? I don't know. Let me find out, right? But figure it out. What does figure mean?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. What is a figure? What is a figure?
Sorry?
What is a figure? When you say figure it out, what is a figure? Do you know?
Means more discover.
Well, the original word figure, it means numbers. Okay? So when I was a boy, like my grandfather would say something like, I got to work on my figures, or I'm good at figures. That means I'm good at math. Okay? So when we say figure it out, it's like solving a problem, like a math problem, right? So that's the difference. Find out just means go find. Figure it out implies there's some kind of a problem that must be solved, right? So if I say, I need to get to the airport by 9 o'clock tomorrow, that's a problem I need to figure out. I need a ride. I need to figure out who's going to... That's figure out. Find out is like, what time does my plane arrive? That's find out. So the difference is one implies there's a problem. One implies you're just looking for information. However, there are some situations where you could just, for example...
Okay, but it's more clear now with my mind. Really figure it out. It's more clear.
Yeah. Maybe my student, if my student's working on some problem I gave them, right? And they say, I can't do it. Now, maybe I'll say, figure it out, Or if they say, I can't find the answer. And I would say, well, do more work until you find out. Right? So in that case, it's kind of interchangeable, but... Yeah, it depends on context. Okay?
Okay. No, but the context is more clear in my mind now.
Good.
Okay, thank you for your time and your explanation. And every time when it's possible, I'm here for listen and
great.
Teaching more.
Great.
Teaching, no, learning.
Learning more, yes. Well, we're all learning, we're all teaching, right? So every student is a teacher, every teacher is a student. Always remember that. You have never met a teacher who wasn't a student, right? So, that's what you have to remember.
Thank you.
All right, take care, Nana. It was nice to meet you. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Have a nice day.
All right. Let's see. Somebody else want to come talk to me? We've got Parsa is next. There are a bunch of people with their hand raised. I will try to get as many as I can. Okay? There's Parsa.
Hello, and I hope you're doing well. How's it going with you? Do you have my wish?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, how are you?
Thank you so much, and it's really nice to see you and talk with you. Mm-hmm. I've been following for about 1 month, and so I'm a great fan of you.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you to say. Thank you. I appreciate that. So are you in Tehran, or where are you?
Now, actually, I don't live in capital, but I live in central location.
Okay, all right. Okay, and what can I do for you today?
Yes, I have several questions. Personally, I'm studying to be an English teacher. And I want to know, what is your advice for someone who wants to start this way? How can I teach and how can I make progress in this way?
So you want to be an English teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing, if you want to be a teacher, it's very simple. Go teach. To be honest, that is the biggest and greatest advice that I can give you, because teaching truly is one subject that you can learn information in the classroom. Like when you're in school, you can learn information about teaching, but you cannot learn how to teach. You cannot learn how to teach until you teach. Okay, so many people go to school to study to be a teacher, and they take all the classes and they read all the books and they learn all the terminology, but that doesn't make them a teacher yet. Not until they get into a classroom and actually start trying to deal with students. Okay, because you need to understand that teaching it's an act that requires you to understand the person in front of you. So no matter what you know, if you have great knowledge, that's great, wonderful. But if you don't know the person in front of you, it doesn't really help you. So you have to be able to understand the person, okay? I started teaching when I was 18, okay? I was a drum teacher first, okay, a drum teacher. And when I was 18 years old, I started teaching. I had 73 students a week privately. And That's 73 kids who are coming to you, or adults. Some were kids, some were adults, and they're all coming to you with questions that you have to answer. And they all have different questions, and they all want different things. That's when you start becoming a teacher. When you actually start doing the work and start trying to figure out, how do I explain these things? And you have to make some mistakes. I remember my first year when I was a teacher. It was hard. I was a really serious drummer, and I loved drumming. And, one lesson I learned the first year was my first students that I had, I was really frustrated because none of them, they didn't practice that much. They weren't that serious. And the lesson I had to learn was, just because I'm really, really serious about this thing doesn't mean they're as serious about it. And I can't push my views onto them about it, or I will kill their interest in it. Right? Mm-hmm. So I have to allow them. Students are like flowers. Some they bloom in March, some they bloom in June, and some they bloom in August. And you can't get mad if the flower didn't bloom. You have to wait. Right? So these are lessons that you cannot learn in a classroom. You can only learn by teaching the students, right? So the more you teach, the better you will get. So that's why I would say, if you want to be a teacher, go teach. Okay, do it as soon as you can. Find someone. You don't have to be a professional. The idea, the word professional teacher is if you do something long enough and you're passionate about it, you are it. Okay, there is no debating. Okay, there are many teachers who have more credentials than I do. Does that make them more of a teacher than I am, or less of a teacher than I am? It's not about that. At the end of the day, it's about, do you do it? Is that what you do? Do people come to you for information, and do you help them find that information? Do you help them understand that information better? That is teaching, right? So that's the number one thing I would say, is start teaching. Find some students, find someone that you can teach anything. Right? If you want to teach English, then find somebody you can teach English to, right? That's the one nice thing. Teaching is great practice, right? So when you teach, you have to explain things to people, and that means you really have to understand it well to explain it. So it's also really good practice for you, right? So that's what I would suggest, is go try to find students that you can teach. It doesn't matter what age they are. Find students and start teaching them. Okay? And Sana says teaching is all about patience. That's true. It is. You're right. Teaching is all about patience. And again, that's something you can't really learn until you start doing it.
Yes, but there are also some other problems. Like, if you want to teach and if you want to work in an institution or somewhere.
Degrees, yeah, but that's not what I said. Yes. I know, but I'm not asking you to go work at a school. I'm asking you to go ask your neighbor, would you like some English lessons? Mm-hmm. I'm asking you to ask your niece or your nephew, hey, next Friday when you come over to the house, we're having an English class. Teach your neighbor, teach your friend, teach your nephew, your niece, your son, your daughter, your mom, your dad, the guy next to you on the bus. Teach. Okay? I'm not telling you to go get a formal job at a university. I started in a music store on the corner. And I'm telling you right now, teaching is teaching is teaching is teaching. So I have been teaching English since 2009, but I started teaching in 1994. That's a long time, okay? And I promise you that the things I learned as a drum teacher, they are the things that make me a good English teacher, because teaching is teaching. Okay, I had students that were 4 years old. I had students that were 74 years old. I had students that had disabilities. I had students who were brilliant. students, brilliant learners. I had some students who were interested like this much, not really. Mom and dad are forcing them to come. And I had some students who were incredibly passionate, right? All of these variations matter because your approach will change for each one of those students. You have to make the information, you have to cater the information to the student. Right? You can't just walk into a classroom and just give everybody the same information. No, you have to be able to find a way to communicate individually. And that's another reason why I actually think the best way to start as a teacher is private teaching, not public group teaching. Start with one-on-one lessons. Okay? Because if you can't handle one student, you can't handle 30. Right? So start with private lessons. Private lessons will help you understand that students all are different. And you need to remember that when you're a teacher. Because when you come into a classroom, there will be the kids at the front row who are like this, like me, I want to answer. And then there are the kids in the back who are throwing things at each other. And there's the kid who doesn't really understand. He's maybe he didn't pay attention very much, or he doesn't like English, so he's not really good. There might be one kid who is falling asleep, and you get mad at him. Why are you falling asleep in my class? He might be falling asleep because he has troubles at home. Maybe mom and dad are beating him every night, I've had to deal with that, And am I going to get mad at a kid when I find him falling asleep? I don't. I find out why he's falling asleep first. Right?
So,
go ahead.
As you're saying, that's all about understanding people. That's all about to know each individuals as well. And the other question that I have is this. Does the fact that someone has certification necessarily means that the person is able to teach, or the person is a good teacher?
That's correct.
Because, some people are saying that we are really experienced, and, we have been teaching English for, several years, and we have these certifications, but, they are not good teachers.
Right.
Or it doesn't necessarily mean that they are able to convey their meaning clearly.
Right.
So, I'm curious to know that what's your opinion about this issue?
I completely agree. For example, if Plato or Socrates were here today, they wouldn't have a university degree, but I would still want to learn with them. Right? So university degree doesn't matter. What matters is, does this person have the knowledge, and do they communicate it well, and do they inspire me? That's what matters, right? So let me ask you guys a question. What credentials do you guys think I have? Tell me what degree you think I have. Anyone want to guess what kind of degree I have? Do I have a master's degree? Do I have a doctorate? Do I have a PhD? Do I have an undergraduate degree? What do I have? You tell me. What do you think I have? Heba says master's degree. Eva says PhD. Linda says master's. Anybody else? It's okay. You won't insult me. Don't worry. I don't care about degrees, so that, whatever. But my point was, I wanted you to see that there are at least a few people who watch me regularly, and they think I have a master's degree or a PhD. I do not. I have a 2-year degree. I have not even finished my undergraduate degree in college yet. I'm actually working on it this year. I'm 49 years old. I'm still working on my undergraduate degree. There are many reasons why. It's a long story, because really, my job for many, many years, I was a musician. And you don't need a degree to be a musician. So for years, I just didn't need one. Then I became what I am now, an English teacher. However, and with an English teaching job, you need a degree. You need more credentials. So I have my teaching certification, right? I have my certification as a TEFL teacher, right? Teaching English as a foreign language. I do have my certification, and I have 2 years of undergraduate degree, okay? And actually, I did study longer than that. But the point is, if that's what matters to you, then you're focused on the wrong things. Powerful words are powerful words. It doesn't matter who said them. It just matters what they are, right? So inspiration can come from anywhere, right? And you should make sure you're careful, because sometimes you think that guy on the corner, there was a guy I used to go have coffee with in my neighborhood 20 years ago. There was a homeless guy who was in my neighborhood all the time. And I always saw this guy, and he never bothered anyone. And he would just read his newspaper and drink his coffee, on the sidewalk out in the, I'd see him almost every morning when I went to go get coffee. I used to go buy him lunch sometimes. I would take him out and get some lunch, and we would sit down. That dude was brilliant. He was ridiculously smart. I couldn't believe the things that when I would talk with him, he was way smarter than me. Much, much smarter than me. And every time I asked him something, about current events or the world, his understanding and his ideas were just brilliant, But he's a homeless guy, So just remember, sometimes knowledge doesn't look like a pretty diamond. Knowledge isn't always easy to look how pretty, and no, it's hidden usually. And sometimes people think they have knowledge and they say they have the diamond, but they don't, right? So, again, my point is just that I am a teacher because I love teaching. That's it. If you have a pure passion for something, then that is what you are. I'm a drummer also. Do you need to go to school for drums? No, you don't need to. You can. I did. But you don't need to. Nobody expects you to. But nobody doubts you when you say, I'm a drummer. They don't go, no, you're not. But when you're a teacher, if you didn't go to school and you say, I'm a teacher, no, you're not. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And here's another issue that I'm struggling with in my family. And my family insists me that you must, if you want to be an English teacher, or if you want to be active in this field, then you must be accepted in a good university. But as you know, some special majors like programming, electronic and English, does not need university certificate. And there are lots of other international certificates which could help me. So, which one is more valuable? A universal, is that correct?
A university degree, right? Yeah, or a certification,
or some other international degrees.
I would say if you want to teach English, I would do both. I do think you should get a degree. Because I'll tell you why. Because if you have a degree, you just have fewer arguments to make. That's the only difference, right? When you have the degree, you don't even have to argue about it. I have a degree, So, I don't. So there are times when people challenge me. They say, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Just the other day, there was somebody on here who came, they were from, I think, Myanmar. And, I said, hey, yeah, I'm a real teacher. You can ask me questions. And he said, allegedly. And I was like, man, allegedly I'm a teacher? Anyway, the point is just that if you love something and you think that you have value, then you have value. So do it. All right? And for me, this is not a skill that got through school. It's a passion that I developed in my soul. That's different, right? And guess what? Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're a good teacher. I know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of teachers who have all the degrees and they don't know how to inspire. They don't communicate well, and people don't like going to their classes. That's not good. That is not a good teacher. Okay? So, remember that every great teacher you had, they weren't great because of their degrees. You don't say, oh, that teacher I had in the 5th grade, he was my favorite teacher. He was my favorite teacher because he had a master's degree. No, he was your favorite teacher because he inspired you. Do you know who Richard Feynman is? Richard Feynman?
His name is really familiar for me. Could you provide more information?
Sure. He was a famous physicist. He was a physicist, and he was a teacher, right? And he has a quote that I love. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. Feynman quote, teaching. Let me see. One of his quotes is another thing I said, which is, he said, the best way to learn is to teach. So, and I agree. Again, that's what I said. That's why I think that if you want to be a teacher, go do it. Go do that thing, right? But he said, let me see. I'm trying to find the right quote. Students don't need a perfect teacher. Students need a happy teacher who's going to make them excited to come to school and grow a love of learning. That's what he said. Let me say that again, everybody. Students don't need a perfect teacher. Students need a happy teacher who's going to make them excited to come to school and grow a love of learning. That's what they need. And that's one of the most brilliant minds of all time, Richard Feynman, that's up there with Einstein and those guys, right? And again, his concept is that the most important part is the inspiration part. If you can't do that, then I don't know why you're a teacher. Teaching is not just about giving information. Teaching is about giving information and lighting a fire. You're trying to light a fire.
And that's exactly what you're doing, because I'm already familiar with what you've been talking about, but each time you're repeating them, it feels different. It feels inspiration. It feels inspiring.
Yeah, inspiring or inspirational. Yeah. And, again, do you know what? It's easy to be inspirational when you're passionate about something. Right? So that's why I laughed when that guy said allegedly I'm a teacher, because I couldn't be more of a teacher if I tried. It's like it's not a job, it's what I am. That's a whole other thing, right? Some people, they say, what's your job? Great, that's your job. When I say I'm a teacher, that doesn't mean that's my job. That means that's my personality.
That's really admirable, because you have dedication and commitment to what you're doing, and I'm at the beginning, I'm at the first of the path, and I totally understand what you're talking about. There's an excitement when you're explaining something to others, when you're helping others to improve their skills. There's a special feeling.
Right.
And I know you're talking about.
So that's why I like to use the idea of the fire, because that's what you're doing. You have information and you need to give it to them, but you need to do more than that. What you are doing is you're holding the flame and then you're passing the flame to them. Right? But that's why it's important, because there are some teachers who have no flame. They have no flame. They have the information, they can teach, but they don't inspire. They don't inspire, right? They have the knowledge, but they don't have anything they don't have the fire that they can pass to someone else. And that's why I tell people, if the teacher looks bored, why should the students be interested? right? If you don't look like this makes you excited, then why should they be excited? If you look bored, they're going to be bored. Yeah.
And I agree with this point that mostly when people say we are not interested and we are not passionate to learn English, that's because they have bad teachers.
Yeah.
Like, how is it possible to have a good teacher and don't be interested in that field? Like, I remember I used to hate mathematics, but then one year a new teacher came to our school and just everything changed.
Right.
And then that's it. That's right. The same thing also about English.
And that's exactly my point. The knowledge didn't change. The knowledge was still the knowledge that it was before. But somebody came and had fire. They had fire, and they said, here's some of my fire for you. Now take that fire and go make your own fire. Right? That is the job of teaching. Okay?
Thank you so much. And one more question. Mm-hmm. Do you think someone needs to be in professional level to teach, or it's if someone have a good command of English, that's adequate, and that's enough? And what do you think about me? Is my level enough to teach?
Yes, it is. Opinion? Yeah, absolutely, it is. So here's another quote that I like to say. That's my quote: "Teachers are not gods. Teachers are guides. Gods know everything. Guides don't know everything. They just know more than you. And they want to help you, right? So I remember my first year of teaching. There was one day when I got very frustrated because I felt like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. Why did I agree to be a teacher? I'm 18. I don't know anything. I called my teacher, who is a great teacher, and he's well known, and I called him and I said, Mr. Gardner, I don't know what I'm doing. Why did I do this? I can't teach these kids. I don't know everything. And that's what he told me. He said, Mark, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know more than they do. You just have to be one step ahead of them, and you have to want to help them get to the next step. That's all. Right? So, no, you don't have to know everything. No one does. If that was the standard, then no one would be a teacher, because everybody would always be competing for, it would never be enough. You would say, well, he knows more than I do. So if he knows more than I do, then I can't teach because I'm not as good as he is. That's this weird competition that doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is if you have some knowledge and you think you can explain it to someone else and make them understand it and make them want to do more with it, then you can teach.
Yes, and as I mentioned, I can thoroughly understand the fire that you're talking about, because I remember whenever I'm talking, whenever I'm explaining, there's that feeling. And I've created my own name, which is Say Soar. Say Soar means you will soar in English. You will talk effortlessly.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, Say Soar. That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's good. And that name tells me you're thinking of the right things, that you want them to fly. And yes. It's the same thing. How does a mother bird encourage their kids to fly? They have to encourage them. They show them what to do, and then eventually they figure it out and jump out and fly on their own, right? And that's exactly what you want to do. I have a few students. I have one student in particular. He's a drum student that I taught when I was 25, I think, and he was 14 or 15. And he has now surpassed me as a drummer far, far beyond what I could ever do. He just got a job teaching at a local university. He's the head of their department now. And that's a beautiful feeling. When you know that you passed on something to someone and now they've taken it further than you did, that's an amazing feeling. I'm not jealous. I'm proud. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he can play better than I can, that he knows more than I do. I'm thrilled. There's no jealousy there. No, it's like pure pride. in wow, I'm so glad he was able to do that. And even more funny, even though he's better than me, whenever I still see him, he still treats me like I'm the teacher.
And that's one of the most valuable things, because I guess teaching is not a job. Teaching is a love.
It's a passion. That's right. It's a passion. That's exactly right. There are some jobs in this world that shouldn't be done unless you have passion for them. You should not be a doctor unless you have a passion for helping sick people. You should not be a teacher unless you have a passion for inspiring children or people to learn, right? There are certain jobs, you know, if you want to be an accountant, I guess you can do that without passion, maybe, you know, but certain jobs, you can't do them unless you have a passion for them. You know, if you have a child and you take them to the doctor and there are two doctors, one guy, he does it because he wants a Ferrari. And the other guy does it because he loves to help sick children. Which doctor do you want? Of course you want the one who helps sick kids, right? You know, that's his passion is helping, not money, right? There are certain jobs like that, humanitarian jobs, where you have to have humanity to do them and compassion to do them. And I also want you to understand that one thing that made me a good teacher, I think, is because my father is a psychologist. So that made me start, that means that from the very beginning, when I started teaching when I was 18, I was already looking at my students and trying to understand their individual psychology. And that's crucial. Because if you can understand why is this student this way, why are they that way? Why do they act this way? Like there's certain kids who they act out a lot, like they're always making jokes and they want to be funny, right? Why? Because that kid gets no attention at home. So when he gets to school, he wants all the attention. If you understand that, now it's much easier to deal with that kid. You can figure out how to solve that problem. But if you don't understand psychology, it's like trying to solve problems without all the information.
Yes, that's it. And, you know, I understand this fact when someone is saying, I don't have confidence to speak in English. I'm afraid of judgment of others. And then I will understand that maybe someone treated that person in a bad way, and then that one is not able to speak.
That's
the person is afraid to express him or herself. And for the last thing, because I was recording, what is your message to the people, to the audience of Say Soar podcast who will watch these maybe later? What is your message for them?
My message for your podcast. Learning is a responsibility to yourself and to the world. And that learning is not something you do in school. Learning is something you do from day one until you die. The purpose of learning is not to get a better job. It's to become a better person.
Thank you so much. And, you know, I'm able to talk with you for hours, but it seems there are also some people who want to talk with you.
Sure.
But it was definitely valuable for me. And if it is okay, I will ask you some more questions, but if the time is up.
I'll tell you what, Parsa, why don't you come back and see me again sometime, and I'll talk to some other people here today. But we had a great conversation, and let's, why don't you take what I gave you and go think on it for a little bit, you know? And remember that every teacher, you know, one of the greatest things about being a teacher, I'll tell you, being a teacher is a huge responsibility, because a teacher never knows where their influence ends. So the things that I teach you, you will now teach someone else, and they will now teach someone else, and they will now teach someone else. So it is very possible that some of the words I say here now will continue on far beyond me. That's a huge responsibility, you know? So take that, go think on it, and then come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Thank you so much. Talking with you was really informative and nice for me. And of course, it was my pleasure. Hope
my
to see you
pleasure as well.
again and wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Keep going with more energy and wish you the positivity and everything which is related to that.
Thank you very much. All right. Take care, Power Star. I'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's see. Did I miss any comments here? Yeah, we have the same phrase in English about teach a man how to fish, right? Rather than give a man a fish he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish he eats for life. Okay, let's see. The next person who's in line, I think, was this one. Hello Talk user 268885. Such a nice name. And hello, Jonathan Giraldo, over in my YouTube channel as well. Hello to my YouTube people. Are you ready to come talk to me? Hello from Egypt. Let me try again. Oh, and by the way, did you guys notice that the sound of his voice was a little bit unclear? Not because of him. His speaking was great. His speaking was really, really good. But why was the sound unclear? Why? Do you know why? Because of his room. The room he was in had 4 hard walls and a hard floor. So when he talked, it sounded like caw. So when he talked, it sounded more like this. Watch. Right now, you can understand me very well. But if there is reverb, then this happens. As I talk, it will become harder to understand me, and harder to understand me, and harder to understand me. That's called reverb. So, I am only teaching you that because I want you to see sometimes if you have a hard time understanding, if you can't understand someone, sometimes it's not because of the way they speak. Sometimes it's because of the environment they are in. Okay? So remember that. All right. I guess that one doesn't want to come up. So M. Shawai is you're next. Mohammed, do you want to come talk to me? Hello, Mohammed. Are you there? One more time, Mohammed. Okay. I guess Mohammed is busy. So we'll go to Besso. Hello, Miguel. And hello to Financial Freedom Fight Club. I like that. Guys, if you're raising your hand, I don't know why don't you answer me when I call you to the stage? I'm trying one more time. M. Shawaiz, are you there? Hello, Muhammad Shawaiz Ali, are you there? In Pakistan. Wake up. Okay, Besso, are you there? In Egypt, Besso, hello, hello, hello. Okay, how about, is it Ilsan? Isan, are you there? There we go, there's Isan.
Hello, sir, how are you?
I'm fine. Do you want me to turn off your camera?
Okay, sir.
It doesn't matter. I don't mind, but if you'd prefer, it's okay. And you are in Pakistan. Are you in Karachi? Are you in Lahore? Are you in Islamabad? Where?
I am in Peshawar.
Peshawar, okay. And how can I help you?
Tell about that how we can get a passion. For example, we learn English every day, but we can't speak because we are afraid. And if we learn English very well, after that, how we can teach to others? Please explain that.
Okay, well, so if you know something, then you can teach something. So if you know 2 + 2 is 4, you can now teach 2 + 2 is 4, right? So teaching is for everyone. Teaching is for everyone. Teaching is not a job. Teaching is a method of life. So, for example, every parent is a teacher, aren't they? Right? Parents are teachers. Parents teach things all the time. When parents teach things, do they know everything? No. No, they know more than the child. So, when they teach things, they teach whatever they know, right? So if you know something and you think you can teach it, then go try. Go try. So maybe you know how to explain past tense. Great. Now go teach that to your nephew. Try. Okay? And see if you can. You don't have to wait to teach. Okay? Now, I will tell you, you can teach anyone. But yes, you should have respect for the name teacher. You should have respect for the concept of a person who really does that thing. That's their main purpose in life, is to teach. That is a respectable thing that you should have admiration for, right? That doesn't mean you can't teach, but I just want you to understand that many people play the drums, but not everyone is a drummer. That means if you say I'm a drummer, that means that's my job. I do that. That's my passion, my living. That's what I do, right? So many people play the drums, but not many people are drummers. Many people can teach, but not everyone is a teacher. Okay? Now, how can you become passionate? Passion is just about finding something you like and then doing it and chasing it. That's it. Passion is about finding a small flame and making it bigger, right? It's like building a fire, right? When you build a fire, it's very small. Right? That's passion. The more you do something, the more you want to do something. It's following your curiosity. It's following your interest. Okay? So if you want to have passion, then do something you love. That's it. It's very simple.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't have now.
Okay, so if you know something, go teach it. Okay? And guess what, guys? Some of you, if you go teach someone, you might make a mistake. You might teach something maybe the wrong way, or you teach something in a way that's not the best way. That's okay. That's okay. You know why it's okay? The student will figure it out. They will figure it out. Okay? There were some teachers who they taught me something, and then I found out later that that wasn't right. That's okay. I figured it out. Right? So if you go teach, in the beginning, maybe you won't be a perfect teacher, but it's better than nothing. If someone wants to learn and you could help them, shouldn't you? Of course you should, right? If you see a child who's hungry, you see a child and they're hungry, and you have a little bit of food, you have a little bit, shouldn't you give it to them? You should. Just because you're not a cook doesn't mean you shouldn't give them food. Right? So that's why I'm saying that if you want to teach someone, go teach them. Okay? I think that the world needs more people to try to teach each other, to help each other, to inspire each other. Okay? So Ilsan, anything else I can help you with, Ihsan?
No, I don't have anything now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you. Come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Why does everyone want to become a teacher? I don't think everyone does want to become a teacher. I didn't say everyone wants to become a teacher. M. Schweiz can come now. Okay, let's try M. Schweiz then.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm amazing. First of all, I'm so grateful to you because you don't know how much you helped me in my journey to be more confident and overcome my fear of public speaking. I have joined your voice live stream about 2 times, and you've just given me 10 minutes of your time. And your suggestion, your advice, oh my God, they helped me so much.
Wow.
And like you said to me, go take the step. I said to you, I fear public speaking. Then you say you fear because you are not familiar with that thing. So just go and try, be on stage. I said, okay, now I'm gonna do this. I enrolled for 2 dramas in my college, and when I went there, oh my God, the audience went crazy. It was so amazing. Like when I came back from stage, everyone was praising me. Like my friend was saying, "Hey, it was not you there. Like that guy was a whole different personality." I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. That's a great compliment. And people like I don't know my CS, they were like, yeah, God, good on. I was like, oh, thank you.
That's
thank you.
funny. Good for you.
Like,
Good for you.
Man, it was my moment.
Good for you.
Thank you for that.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. You're welcome. I'm happy for you. I didn't do anything. You did it.
Okay, so today I also have a question for you. This question is about being more authoritative. Like now, as I'm growing up, I am facing more situations where I'm in charge, I'm in power. So, like in these situations, I have to be more assertive. My voice have to be more confident and authoritative. So, like, how can I be more firm? How can I sound like a person who is credible with credibility? Like whenever I speak in a louder voice, my pitch it goes so high like this, and I can't maintain a pitch. So like if I speak like that, it sounds like friendly and frank. So yeah, this is a problem I want to tackle now.
So how can you sound like you have more credibility? Credibility, I think, is usually about sounding confident. You know, if you sound confident, then people think you're credible. Right? So I think that most of that is just about you just need more experience. You just need more experience doing it. If you have more experience, then you'll become more confident. And if you're more confident, people will think you're more credible. Okay? But it sounds like you're doing great already.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Let me see, M. Schweiz. It sounds like there's a lot of background noise. So here, I'm going to do this. You ask me a question, and then I'll mute you, and then we can talk that way. Okay? So, you sound like you're doing fine. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you. Good for you. Congratulations. Like I said, sometimes if you want to get through the tunnel, you got to go through it. There's no going around it. Right? If you go around the tunnel, you didn't go through it. So you didn't get that confidence. You have to go through it, right? But then once you get to the other side, now you feel like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I can do that again. I can go through another tunnel. That's okay, right? So that's the way it is being on stage. You know, I even remember when I was a boy, I was probably 4, 5, 6 years old. And I remember I was driving with my parents were driving me across a bridge, across a river. And I remember when I was a boy, and the first time I went across a bridge, across a river, I was nervous. I was like, "Oh, I don't like this. So over the water, is this safe? Is this? I'm scared. I don't like this, right?" But then we got over the bridge, and I was like, "Oh, okay." That wasn't that bad. And then we go over another bridge and it's not that bad, right? So that's the process of life, that when you're nervous, it's because it's a bridge you haven't gone over. It's a tunnel you didn't go through, you know? Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I got the point. You were saying that go have some experience. This would make you more, when you have the knowledge, you become confident yourself automatically.
That's right.
But now, what I'm saying is that I have the knowledge of the thing, I know the everything, but I have the knowledge. But when this is about my vocal image, I can focus on my visual image, my wisdom, my words. But my vocal image, how can I make it better, to sound in a certain way? You can if I'm speaking in a louder voice, I can control my rate of speech.
But to be honest, you sound good. I think you sound good right now. You sound good.
Yeah, that's because I'm speaking really low right now.
Okay.
This happens with me all the time.
Okay.
I can't speak loud. I really can't speak loud. Whenever I go to the grocery store, I say them, "Can I please get a thing?" They're like, "Whoa, can you please repeat this?" And this really sucks. Someone says this, and this is something happening through my entire life, and I'm still struggling with this thing.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do another performance in front of people, and this time, I want you to choose a poem.
That's a hard one.
Or a speech. It could be a speech or a poem, or like Shakespeare. Shakespeare is great, right? Do Shakespeare, right? To be or not to be. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Right? Now, why should you do this? Because when you do something that you're practicing and you're rehearsing, now you can focus more on making sure you don't go up, that you stay down, right? Right now, I think you're nervous because you are thinking too much when you're talking, and so it starts to get nervous, and then you start going up and up and up. But when you rehearse something, when you practice a speech or a poem that you want to recite in front of people, or something from a play, just a short paragraph or two, now you can craft it like an actor. Okay, and now you can say how you want to say it, and you can record yourself and watch, and then say, "Oh, well, that was good, but I need to make this different, and I need to do this different, and I need to change these words," right? So you have tried to talk to people in a spontaneous way in front of people, and that's good. Now I want you to try to talk to people in a non-spontaneous way, in a recited way, a rehearsed way. So that means I want you to find some great words, like a speech from someone famous, right? Or some poetry that you really love, right? Or something from a play like Shakespeare or something, right? And then I want you to memorize it, and I want you to learn it, and I want you to act it. Act it. So the reason why I say I want you to act it is because the beauty of being an actor is you are not you. So what I mean is the person you see right now, that's teacher Mark. But guess what? There's another Mark that you don't know. Okay? Another side of me that you don't know. When I'm here, this is this personality coming forward, right? And I've developed this, right? So you need to go craft some words or work on some crafted words like a speech or a poem or something like that, and use that to develop your sense of self. Okay? When you speak on the stage, you don't have a sense of self right now. Yeah, go ahead. Hold on. Here you go.
I have really tried this thing, but when you have been a certain way for a long time with people, they have an assumption. They know this guy's like that, and when you try to be something else, they're like, "Oh, you are phony, you are fake, you are inauthentic." And they're like giving you this chance and like judging you. So like I have to go to different environments, new settings. So
okay, yeah, that's normal. Uh-oh, we got frozen here. I hope we didn't lose him. Yeah, people judge you, guys. That's life. But you need to. Oh, there we go. You're back now. Yeah.
I'm still here. Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. Try one more time.
So, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can? Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. I can hear you. So, again, I think that you sound great. I think you just need to do more, okay? Confidence comes with experience. So, if you're looking for more confidence, there's only one way to get it. More experience. All right? So go speak in front of people more. The more you do it, the better you will get. And remember that when you speak in front of people, you are a musician. You are a musician. Every musician has their own voice, but it's a voice that you have to develop over time. Your sound is different than anybody else's sound, and it's going to take time for you to find it. Okay? So, keep talking in front of people. Keep practicing public speech. Keep practicing interacting with others with language. The more you do that, the more you'll develop your sense of you. And you need to practice rehearsing things and recording so you can watch and see yourself and say, that could be better. I could do this better. I could do that better. Okay? Just like when they play soccer, right? After they play soccer, they watch the game so they can see, oh, I didn't do that well. I should have done this. I should have done that, right? So if you can record yourself, then you can figure out how to improve. Okay? Ah, I think we lost him. M. Shuais, are you there? Ah, the connection. Okay, well, I'll wait another second, but let me check the comments while I'm waiting here. AA, I had to remove AA because he sounds like he's bitter. Too much flattery. This guy. Oh, it's so funny. Why does everyone want to become teachers, he said. No one said that. Yeah, I always find it funny when people come here looking for a fight. Don't you think it's weird? You know, I'm just here trying to help people. And people come looking for a fight with me. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, M. Shuais, unfortunately, I'm going to let you go. But you can maybe join my YouTube and talk to me over in YouTube, okay? But it was great to talk to you. I hope you can still hear me. Come back and see me again. Good luck to you. You're doing great. Just keep trying. Keep working on it. And remember, confidence comes with experience, okay? That's why you don't see very many confident babies. Okay? All right. Where is my YouTube channel? My YouTube channel is right here. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, you can. All right. Who's next in line? We have Lone. Lone is next. Yeah, he may have reached his limit. That's possible too. Yeah. Lone, are you there? Loan? Loan? Maybe it's pronounced. I'm not sure. Or Anchal? Your friend told you that Kevin is a typical Asian name. I've never heard that before. Kevin it's a common American name. And it could be, in America, you could be any background, right? So there are many Asians named Kevin here. There are many blacks named Kevin here. There are many whites named Kevin here. There are many Hispanics named Kevin here. So Kevin is not a name for just one type of person. Yes, hello, Anshal. How are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to see you.
What about you?
I'm pretty good. And you're in India where? What city?
I'm from Varanasi.
Varanasi. I don't know there. I'll have to look that up later. Okay. And how can I help you?
I'm here for practicing my English conversation, and I really want to know how to really improve my English, especially my spoken English.
Okay, that's a better question, because when people ask me how can I improve my English, it's kind of like a big question. It's like, many years ago, my teacher, he told me, Mark, if someone wrote a book about your question, then your question is not a good question. Because if you have to write a book about it, then that's too much. I can't explain how to learn English. Like that's too big, right? But you said, how can I improve my speaking? That's better. Okay. So tell me more. What's the problem with your speaking?
Whenever I start having conversation with anyone, first of all, I lack confidence, and I always run out of words. Like, I can't have those specific words to describe my situation that I use to describe in a Hindi language.
Okay. So, did you hear what I said earlier about confidence? How do you get confidence?
Experience and practice.
Yeah, that's really it, right? I like to tell people, like, Anshal, do you know how to ride a bicycle?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and are you comfortable now when you ride a bicycle?
Yes, now I'm comfortable.
Right, but you weren't when you started, right? And when you start swimming, nobody's comfortable when they start swimming either, but you do it more, then you get comfortable. It's that simple. It's really that simple. But you need to remember that, confidence is right over there. It's right there, but you have to go get it, right? It's not going to come to you. You have to go to it. So that means you have to do things, right? So now the second part of your question about not being able to remember the right words at the right time, there are two things you can do for that. Okay, one is when you're learning vocabulary words, sometimes you guys are learning the words in this way that's very difficult to figure out how to use the words. Because you learn the word, but then you don't know where is that word useful. Right? When you learn a new word, you don't know, is this useful in engineering? Is it useful in food? Is it useful? Where is it useful? You don't know, right? So if you don't know where it's useful, then it's hard to figure out how, like, when you need to pull it out to use it, right? So when you're learning vocabulary words, one of the things that you should do is figure out what contexts you can use that word in. Right? This is a perfect question for ChatGPT, right? Ask it, give it a vocabulary word, and then tell me what contexts can I use this vocabulary word in, right? Where would this word be useful for me, right? And it will tell you, it will say, and then ask it to give you examples, right? So tell me, where is this word useful, and give me some examples of how to use it. Then you'll see. And then what I want you to do is when you learn vocabulary words, that's what you need to add. Don't just learn the meaning of the word. Also write down some situations or contexts where that word might be useful. So for example, there are some words that are academic words, right? Those are words that are really only good in an academic place, right? But then there are some words that are slang. Those are only good in certain places too, right? And you need to know, okay, if I'm hanging out with my friends, then what's up is fine. If I'm in a classroom, not fine, right? Yeah, so context is important. When you learn vocabulary, try to find what context is this word useful in, right? That will help you that when you need to pull them out, you'll be thinking of the context, not the word, right? Yeah, and then another thing that you can do is you need to practice thinking in English more, okay? There are 5 ways that you can practice English. 4 of them are physical, and they require you to do something, like reading and writing and listening and speaking. Those all are actions that you must do something. But if I ask you to think right now, I want you to think, my name is Anshal and I'm from India. You can, can't you? You can think it. You can think it, right? So if you can think it in your mind, if you can play with the words here, then why don't you? Right? And so here's the key. I live in the United States, but I speak Chinese. And I practice Chinese all the time, but there's no one here to speak with. So how? How do I do that? I just do it by thinking in Chinese. When I wash my face, I think, oh, gotta wash my face in Chinese. When I think about brushing my teeth, maybe I'll think about what I need to do today. What do I need to do today? In Chinese, I would say, 今天我需要做什么? Right? And I'll think, oh, I need to do this. 1, I need to do this. 2, I need to do that. But I'm thinking it in Chinese. But it's the same thing I do every day in English. I just changed the language. And now that means I'm spending a lot of time with the language. And that means those words are a lot more comfortable. So let me put it to you this way, Anshal. If I come to India and I see you in the street and you see me, but we don't say anything, you're not going to remember me. If I wave to you and you wave to me, maybe you'll remember me for an hour. If I introduce myself and I say, hello, Anshal, it's nice to meet you. My name is Mark. You'll remember me maybe for that year. But if we go have lunch together, you'll remember me, right? Words are like people. The more time you spend with them, the more likely you will remember them. So if you spend time with the words in your mind, then when you want to speak, the words will be there. They'll be comfortable, right? So right now, when you speak, the problem is your words, your English, you put it in the closet. It's in the closet, and now when you need to speak English, you have to go over there, open the closet door, and pull it out, and now you have to dust it off, right? And now but that's too late. Now you're nervous. Now the words aren't ready because you had them put away. That's why. But if you think about them regularly, you didn't put them away. Now they're getting practice. They're being more comfortable. They're more ready. And when you want to speak, the words will be there. Okay, so 50% of your practice should be mental thinking practice. Okay? And you just have to do the things you normally do, right? Go to the market, but try to think about it in English. Make dinner, but try to think about it in English. Watch TV and movies, but try to think about it in English. Now, if you can't, that's because you're trying to think something too difficult for you. So, of course, you can't think everything. Your level of language is not the same, right? So in Hindi, your language is up here, so you can think all these complicated thoughts anytime you want. But your English is down here, so that means that some thoughts might be a little hard for you to think in English. But many things are easy, like I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm happy. Those are easy. But when you have those feelings, you do them in your native language, not in English. That's what I want you to change. And anything that you don't know how to say, write it down. That's your homework. Okay? And this system will do 2 things. 1, it will develop more confidence because you'll feel like the words are more ready. And 2, you are defining your world with English. These are very practical words. This is not words randomly from the internet or from a dictionary. No, you're looking around your room and saying, do I know how to say that in English? I don't think I do. I better find out, right? You're looking around your world, your life, and you're saying, let me define my world with English. And if I don't know how...
write it down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the secret. Okay?
Okay.
And hello, Loan in Vietnam. Xin chào. Loan, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, Loan. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear her? I can't hear him. I don't know if it's him or her. Loan, are you there? Or Lone? I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Oh, no. Oh, Anshel, you didn't have to take yourself off the stage. I wasn't finished with you yet. I just wanted to talk to Loan. Nora says, I can hear. You can hear Loan? I cannot hear anything. Can anyone else hear? Oh, no. Okay, Loan, yeah, we can't hear you, Loan, so I think maybe you are having some trouble with your phone or your microphone. Go into your phone settings and make sure the HelloTalk has the microphone permission and the video permission. Okay? Try again. Come back and try again, okay? Loan? Anyway, Anshel, I wasn't finished with you. I just wanted to welcome Loan because he or she came on stage. And hello, Desi Akara. I'm fine. How are you? Okay, do we have anybody else? No, nobody else is raising their hand. So the topic is English. If you have English questions, ask me your English questions. If you have questions about grammar, about pronunciation, about reading, writing, listening, speaking, vocabulary, whatever, ask me your questions and I will try to help you. Okay? By the way, the What's the Topic button is going to be changed, I think, soon. I told them that I think What's the Topic is not a very useful button. So soon, I think they're going to change it so that when you hit What's the Topic, it's going to show you what I wrote about the topic. Okay? When I created this stream, I wrote something about the topic. So I hope soon they're going to change it so that when you click What's the Topic, it will just show you what I created as a topic for that stream. Okay? You don't hear or see anything. Well, I hope you hear me and see me. Yes, I am an English teacher, Vivi. All right, let's see. What's the difference between reserved and reticent? Reticent means that you are kind of unwilling to. So reserved just means a reserved person is someone who keeps their opinions to themselves, is somebody who is a little bit more closed, right? Not so open about things, right? They have opinions, but they might not share them, right? They reserve those for special occasions or special people, not for anybody. That's a reserved person, right? Reticent would be more like, I'm reticent to tell you that that's a good idea. That means I don't think I really want to tell you. I'm hesitant, okay? Reticent is kind of like hesitant, okay? Yeah, hesitant would be the main thing, right? Okay? Yes, I am in America. You have a problem with dictation. Nadia, can you tell me a little more? What exactly is your problem? I can probably give you some advice if you can tell me more about what's your problem. You just can't write quickly enough, or what exactly is the problem? Alexander, no, that would be incorrect. If you say she's sad that... Oh, wait. Do you mean said? S-A-I-D? Alexander? I think you mean S-A-I-D. She said that she likes that movie. That would be correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you write, she said that she likes that movie, yes, that would be reporting, right? You're reporting what you like. She said she likes it. Okay. Hello, a lady. Reserved is like they keep to themselves, like closed to share their opinions or feelings because they're shy. It could be because they're shy, or it could be because they just don't like to share too much with everybody. They like to keep things inside and not share everything, right? Okay? When you want to write a word, how can you remember it? How can I remember how to write properly? Do you mean the spelling, Nadia? Spelling of the words? So, Nadia, there is not a perfect secret for that. There are two things that might help you a bit. One is work on your phonics more. Phonics, right? Phonics is the sound of how things are pronounced, right? The various sounds of the letters, right? The sounds of English, that's phonics, okay? And when you have a new word, right? So if you see a word like, I don't know, travel. You see the word travel, T-T-T, ta-ta-ta, ta, R-R-R, ra-ra-ra, ra, ta, ra, tra. T, r, tra. Tra, a. Tra, a. Tra. Tra, a, v. Trav. Tra, a, v. O. L. E-L, right? Travel, right? So that is how American kids learn. That is how American kids find new words and figure them out. Now, the only problem with that is many English words come from many different languages, and each of those languages have slightly different rules about pronunciation and spelling. So the problem is phonics doesn't help you if the word doesn't follow standard rules. Okay? So, for example, the word, the French word ennui. Ennui. It's a word that kind of means like a feeling of internal sadness and boredom. Right? If it's a feeling of like, it's like you're tired because you've been so bored. That's tiredness caused by boredom is ennui, okay? But it's a weird word because look how it's spelled, E-N-N-U-I. Why is it pronounced that way? Because it's a French word, right? So if you learn English phonics, that's not going to help you with that word to spell it. It'll confuse you, right? So unfortunately, Nadia, the truth is, the only real way to learn spelling well is through practice, okay? But the good news is, Nadia, there are many websites and apps to help you practice, and ChatGPT is another one, right? You can ask ChatGPT, please give it a list of words that you want to practice, right? So type in a list of words that you want to practice and then ask it, please create some exercises to help me practice spelling these words. And it will, okay? All right. Be patient. I'm going to try to answer a couple more questions here. How can you learn professional English? Munia, when you say professional English, you mean business English? Is that what you mean? Or academic English, or both? They're slightly different. And Jenny, reserved is not always like introverted. A reserved person could be somebody who's very open and free about their personality, but they just don't like to tell everybody about everything they think, right? They just don't like to share every thought they have, or every idea they have, or every opinion they have. They keep them inside. That would be reserving them. Okay, so think of it more like some people will say anything to anyone, okay? And reserved people, they will say anything, but not to anyone. Only to some. They reserve what they want to say for the few that they really trust. Okay? That's being reserved. Okay? Can I explain about mixed conditionals? Oh, I love this question. Which the blend of second and third conditionals. Okay. So I can, but I want to do something better. I'm going to show you that you can do this too, all right? If I'm just going to do this, watch. I just copied what you said. One moment. Let me adjust this very quickly. So let's share my screen, and I'm going to show you this kind of a question is a perfect question to ask ChatGPT. So here is the question. Explain about mixed conditionals, specifically the blending of second and third conditionals. Give an easy explanation and include examples. Excuse me. Okay, absolutely. Let's break down mixed conditionals, especially those that blend the second and third conditionals. Okay? So, what is a mixed conditional? A mixed conditional happens when the time in the if part is different than the time in the result part, right? I know that's a little bit weird, but what that means is something from the past is affecting something in the present, or a present condition is something that was that came from the past, right? Something that happens now came from the past, right? So, for example, we have this is the structure, right, for second conditional, right? If I had more money, I would travel the world. If I had more money, I would travel the world. There's second conditional. Third conditional. If I had studied, I would have passed the test. Now we're talking about an imaginary past. So this one is an imaginary present or future. If I had more money now, I would travel more. That's an imaginary present. This one is an imaginary past. If I had studied, I would have passed the test. So I didn't pass. I didn't pass the test. Why? Because I didn't study. But if I had, I would have. Okay? But now we have the mixed one. So the mixed one is where you have a past action that didn't happen that's causing a present result. So for example, if I had studied harder, I would have a better job now. So this is the past. I didn't study. I didn't study. But the present is I don't have a job right now, a good job right now, right? So because I didn't study in the past, my life is different now. If I had studied harder, I would have a better job now, right? That's a mix of the two. Or if she had told me the truth, I would trust her now. In the past, she didn't tell me the truth. So in the present, I don't trust her now. Okay? Or if they had left earlier, they wouldn't be stuck in traffic now. So they left late. And because they left late, now they're in traffic. Okay? So you can also flip the order. You could say in the reverse, I would be more confident now if I had practiced more. Right? Or these other ones here, you could say, let's see, we wouldn't be stuck in traffic now if we had left earlier. I would trust her now if she had told me the truth. I would have a better job now if I had studied harder. Okay? And then here's a tip. Use this mixed conditional when you're saying, if the past had been different, my life would be different now. Okay? And look, you can, ask it to do more, right? You can ask it for more than that. But that's a pretty good explanation. Okay? Understand? I have enough time to think when writing, but there's not enough time when speaking. Mike, that's because you need to work more on your thinking in English. English thinking. Okay? If you can think in English, then you can speak quickly. But if you can't think in English, then you can't. That's your problem. Okay? Reserved can be associated with feelings as well. Yes, it can. Yeah, I want to reserve my feelings, okay? Or to be a reserved person would be to not show your feelings very much, right? Like, you don't show your anger or your happiness or your joy, right? So, maybe you have a child, and that child comes home, and they have a test, and they say, Mom, I got a 100%, look. And Mom says, wow, that's so great, I'm so proud of you, right? And Dad just looks at you and goes, he's reserved. Okay? He has feelings, but his feelings don't just come out all the time. He reserves them. Okay? Thank you very much, Catherine, for giving my information there. I appreciate that. All right, please be patient. I'm trying to read all the comments here. By closed, I mean the opposite of open and closed has a figurative meaning. He's a very open person, means he's willing to talk about anything. A closed person would be somebody who's not willing to talk about things, right? My door is open. Ask me things. I'm open. My door is closed. I don't want to answer your questions. Okay? You just need more practice, Mike. Really. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's really the thing. You need more practice. And that's why you need to think in English more so that you can practice more. Okay? How to get the right pronunciation. Masambilla, you need to work on your phonics, and you need to look at your pronunciation now and find the problems. Find the sounds that are hard for you. Start trying to figure out, why is this sound different? What's different about Bangladeshi and English? What are the sounds that are different, and why is it different? Okay? What's the best way to improve from B2 to C1? Do C1 things. Read C1 materials, listen to C1 videos or podcasts, write C1 exercises, learn C1 vocabulary. Kimmy, advancement only comes to those who push themselves. So, people who are comfortable being uncomfortable are people who will go further. When you learn, you're uncomfortable. You're not confident. Many people, that makes them feel nervous, so they stop. They want to feel confident. They want to feel comfortable. But if you don't challenge yourself and push yourself, then you won't grow. Okay? So you should always be pushing yourself to do things that are beyond your level. Okay? If you are only doing things at your level or below, then you will never get better. That's the answer. Okay? You are welcome, Axel. Hello, Neymar. Good to see you. I thought that in English there could only be one negative, but recently I discovered that you can say, for example, I can't not love you. Yeah, you can. So you can have a double negative, but a double negative is a positive. Right? So if you say, I can't not love you, that means I must love you. Okay? So it's just like math, right? Two negatives are positive. Same thing in English. Okay? You shouldn't do it, Alexander. Put it this way. In academic rules of grammar, double negatives are something that we tell people not to do, right? But they do happen. People say that. Okay? And so you need to understand the meaning if they do use it. If you do see a double negatives mean a positive. Okay? And sometimes I could just say, I must love you. But if I say, I can't not love you, it sounds more powerful. Right? There's something, the way the words change when you say, I must love you or I can't not love you. It's like, that means it's impossible for me to even do anything else. Okay? So the way you phrase things sometimes can change the power of what you say. And if you say something in the most simple way, it loses maybe some power sometimes. Sometimes the opposite happens. Sometimes simple words are more powerful. Okay? What's the difference in pronunciation between color, and the last word is not a word. I think you mean cooler. Cooler. Narimane, the first word is caller. Like when you call into a radio station, you are a caller, right? Caller number 1, let's talk to you now. Caller number 2, let's talk to you now. Caller number 3, what is your name? Right? So a caller is a person who calls, okay? So that would be caller, right? But the second word is color, okay? And then the last word, I think you mean to say cooler. Cooler. And thank you, Zizo. You're the self-proclaimed mod here. I'd be happy to make you a mod if you want to help me mod, sometime. I don't have any moderators, so anybody who wants to help me, by all means, please tell me. I would love to have some help. Look, let me think here. Mary said... I think you understand correctly, Mary. It just means they're not necessarily colder, right? A reserved father might love you just as much as the mother. He just doesn't say it all the time. Okay? They're just more reserved. They don't throw it out all the time. Okay, so look, Miriam, if you have a lot of something, then you give it out. Here's my love. I have lots of love. Lots of love. Here, take it. But some people, they don't give it out to everybody. They just say, only to that person. Not you. Only you. That's more reserved. Okay? And not all the time. Only this time. Okay? So maybe your father tells you he loves you when you graduate from college. Maybe your father tells you he loves you when you get married, right? But he doesn't say it every day. My father says it all the time, right? He's not so reserved with his emotions, but some people don't. That's okay. It doesn't mean they have lesser feeling. Just means they don't like to show it as much. Okay? I'm drinking iced coffee. The best and easiest way to improve vocabulary would be to follow me. See ya. Number one, read. Reading. It's the one way to increase your vocabulary. I want to ask a question. I'm curious. How many of you don't like reading? How many of you don't like reading? Ing doesn't like reading. Busra doesn't like reading. Ba doesn't like reading. Lin doesn't like reading. Deepak does like reading. Anybody else? Who doesn't like reading? You've never tried to like reading. Okay, so let me tell you something. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about someone who cannot read? What do you feel? What are your feelings when you see someone who cannot read? What do you think about them? How do you feel? Okay, not doesn't want to. How do you feel about someone who cannot read? Ba says miserable. If you know someone who can't read, Lila says he missed out a lot, so they are blind. A poor person. Okay, now, here's the question that you need to think about. Raham says, I feel sorry for them. What's the difference between someone who cannot read and someone who doesn't read? There is no difference. So I want you to think about that. If you feel sorry for that person who cannot read, you should feel sorry for yourself because you do not read. That's much worse. You can, but you don't. Wow. It's bad if you can't read, if you're not able to. That's bad. But if you are able to, but you choose not to, what's the difference? There is no difference. One person is unable to read, and so they cannot learn. You're just choosing not to read. You can learn, but you choose not to. That's sad. That's sad. Ba says it's boring. What is the solution? Ba? Find something that's not boring. There are billions of books. Billions of them. We have been writing for thousands of years. You can read something else. If you listen to one song, and you say, I don't like that song. Oh, I don't like music. That must mean I don't like music. I heard one song and I didn't like it, so that means I don't like music, right? You would say that's silly. You only heard one song. Listen to another song. This other song is better, right? Same thing with books, okay? You just didn't hear the right song. You just didn't hear the right song. Go find another book, okay? Or if you can't get the patience to read a book, then don't read a book. Read a short story. If you don't have the patience to read a short story, don't read a short story. Read an article. If you don't have the patience to read an article, don't read an article. Read a poem. Okay? But the point is, there is no real difference between someone who cannot read and someone who does not read. That's really important to remember when you say you don't like reading. you're saying, I want to be like the person who can't read. Nobody wants to be like that. Okay? Yeah, does not read is much worse than cannot read. Does not read is much worse. So if you feel bad about the person who cannot read, they're here. You're here. That's not good. That's not good, okay? So go forth and read. Go forth and read. Let me check my YouTube here. Okay, good. Didn't miss anything. All right, let me check the comments here. I will try to talk to one more person here today, but let me get the comments here first. I'm the lead singer of a rock band here in Brazil, and I sing a lot of songs in English. Do you have any tips for memorizing song lyrics in English? Ooh, rock lover? Well, it's really no different memorizing English than it is any other language, right? So, if you can do it in Portuguese, then you should be able to do it in English, right? What I would tell you is maybe, let me ask you a question, rock lover. Your English looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. But do you understand the words you sing when you sing them in English? Because that's part of the problem. If you don't understand the words, it's hard to remember them because you don't know what you're saying, right? But if you know what the words mean, then you know the emotions you're singing about, right? And if you didn't notice, I'm a drummer, right? So, memorizing lyrics is just like memorizing anything. It requires repetition, but it's better if you can connect it to the meaning. Then you'll feel like you're telling a story, not memorizing words, right? Every song is a story, right? So you have to figure out what's the story I'm telling, right? Think about that. Don't think about memorizing the words. Memorize the story, okay? That's right. Minus by minus gives plus. Exactly, Alexander. Right. Let's see. Yesterday, I was talking with two Americans at the airport. My wife told me that his husband was super hyped to stay about a week in Fortaleza City. Right. Hyped means excited. Hyped means excited. You have a problem with pronunciation, for example, dispute. In the first part, I pronounced it wrong, and then I checked in the dictionary. Okay, well, that just takes practice, Neymar, right? Here's what I would suggest, Neymar. Go find all the words in English that start with D-I-S. Dispute, disagree, dissuade, right? Disavow. There are many, many dis words in English, okay? Find them and learn them in a group together with all the dis sounds, okay? What's the difference between dirty and grubby? Pouchy, nothing really. Dirty is the much more common word. We don't use grubby too much, right? I think it's a slightly older term that more, older people might use more than young people, right? But grubby, I would also say, is slightly more slang, right? I could say, get your dirty hands off my clothes, or get your grubby hands off my clothes. That's the same. It's the same. Dirty is just more common. That's all. Okay? Caller and collar. Oh, almost, Maggie. C-A-L-L-E-R and C-O-L-L-A-R are almost the same pronunciation, right? So a caller, all. Big mouth, Maggie. Okay? That's the secret. If your mouth is not big enough, then you can't hear the difference between these, right? Caller, call, all, right? Like the word all. But collar, different, right? So collar, and then the other one, like this, is the collar, right? The collar of my shirt, collar. But, Maggie, many Chinese people have trouble with English vowels because if your mouth is only open this much, collar, they all sound the same. But if you open your mouth more, you can find the difference. Okay? All right. Why do I always drink iced coffee? Because I like it. Okay, what's the difference between the pronunciation of coal and cool? Coal, right? Coal is the black stuff that they use sometimes to make fire, right? You can burn it, right? That's coal. Or like when you have a fire, the black stuff that's left over are called coals, okay? But the other word is cool. Cool. Be patient. Hello, Leonardo. Good to see you. Most of the time we forget the new words that we read. No, you don't. There is a lot of proof that reading is the number one way because it's called contextual learning, Sia. When you read a story, there's a story. So your mind is creating pictures. And then you learn a vocabulary word. Now it's part of the story. That's why you'll remember it. Okay? Maybe you don't remember every word, but it is a far more effective way than memorizing words. Thank you, Jay. It's difficult to use them in our routine life because we're not used to them. That's true. So you have to create situations where you will use them. Yeah, if you wait, guys, if you learn a bunch of vocabulary words and then you wait for the situation to happen, yeah, you're going to wait too long, and then the situation, by the time it happens, you will forget. So, Sia, when you learn a new word, now you need to create some situations for yourself where you can use it so you can practice it, okay? Fake it. Your thing is you can't focus on one point after an hour? Okay, so fine. So then read for just 30 minutes. That's good too. And then read again for 30 minutes later. And then again for 30 minutes later. I can read and write, but when I have to present, I feel nervous and not able to explain properly in my words. Anand Kumar, that is called being a human being. Everybody's like that, okay? Presentation is a skill. How many times have you presented, Anand? How many times? 5 times? 2 times? 10 times? How many times have you presented? Thank you, Omer. It's very complicated to collect more words from stories and books and save them. No, it's not, Ashraf. No, it's not. Read it. When you see a new word, underline it, look it up, write it down. That's not complicated. That's easy. If I ask you to build an airplane, that's complicated. If I ask you to learn some vocabulary from reading, that's not complicated. That's simple. I understand the lyrics from songs, but there are too many to memorize. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Rock Lover, when I lived in Asia, I remember there were some bands. I saw a band one night, and they were amazing. They were really good, and they were singing English songs. So I'm a drummer. I wanted to go say, hey, you guys sound great. And it was really funny. I walked up to them, and I tried to talk to them in English, and then I found out they can't speak English. They memorize all the words to the English songs, but they don't speak English. Their pronunciation was great. Their delivery was great. Their singing was great. Everything was great. But it was funny because they just memorized the sound. They don't even know what they're singing sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Okay. Can I teach you something about sentences? Yes. But I don't know what you want me to teach you. A sentence is a bunch of words put together to create an idea of some kind. What is your question about sentences? What do you not understand? Jenny says, I've learned English for many years and I know many words, but it's hard for me to speak out fluently and confidently. Jenny, 这是因为你需要想英文，每天的。OK， 现在你每天想中文，所以你的中文你有好多的练习，很多。可是你需要英文，你的英文你需要比较多练习，想的不是说的，不是写的，不是读的，不是听的，就是想的。Okay? What's the difference between interference and intervention? Interference means bothering somebody. To interfere means somebody doesn't want you there. Intervention, to intervene, means to try to come in and stop something or solve something or help something, right? So to intervene means I want to come in and try to do something helpful. To interfere means you're studying, the two of you are studying, and I come in and go, blah, 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 no more studying, I don't want you to study, no, no, no. Now I am interfering. Okay? Intervention, right? Maybe you know somebody who has a drinking problem. They drink too much alcohol, and they get in trouble all the time because they drink too much alcohol. So one day your family, you all get together and you go talk to him and you say, we think you have a problem. That is an intervention. That's what that's called. You're trying to stop them and help them, right? Interfering would be like he's trying to drink and you're knocking it out of his hand every time. Amani, what's your question? Do you say, let's see, letter sound recognition or the recognition of letters and sound? Ooh, wow. That depends on the word, Amani. Oh, I think I know what you mean, Amani, but again, the problem is, Amani, there is no one way to approach the pronunciation of words because English words come from too many languages and the rules change because it's from a different language. So I don't, I start with, let me think about that for a moment. I start with the recognition of the letters and then apply standard phonics rules first. That's the first thing I try. But standard phonics rules don't always work, especially if it happens to come from a different language like French, right? You know, for example, what's a good word? For example, the word... I want to find a simple one. Oh, I know. Like this one. How do you say that? How do you say that? Anyone? It's pronounced faux pas. Faux pas. Why is it pronounced faux pas? Because that word is French. So it doesn't follow standard English rules of pronunciation. It's not Faux Pas. That would be pronounced Faux Pas or Faux Pas. But no, it's faux pas because it's French. It's an English word that we use from French, right? Faux pas means like a social mistake, like a social mistake. Okay, that's a faux pas, okay? It actually means false dance step. It's kind of funny. Fake dance or something like that. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to get all the comments, everybody, but please be patient. There are too many questions. Yes, reading stories does help you remember words better, of course. Jeremy, tell you the hack to learn new vocabulary very quickly. Jeremy, why do you think there is one? If there was one, don't you think everybody would do it? You want to climb the mountain, but you don't want to go up the trail. You have to. Okay? How do you feel when I only get... Huh? When you only got 16 minutes. What do you mean, Carlos? I don't understand what you mean. What you do... If you're new here... Okay. Hi. If you're new, my name is Teacher Mark. Nice to meet you. I am a teacher. I have been on Hello Talk for 11 and a half years. I have about 81,000 followers here. I am a certified TEFL English teacher. I have about 15, 16 years of experience teaching English. Follow me. I do 10 different streams or live voice rooms every week. Okay, I'm here 10 times a week teaching for free. Okay, so that's what you should do, is follow. And pay attention. And be patient. Okay, love eating at Golden. I already answered your question. I hope you heard it because I already answered it. When presenting any presentation, what are the key mistakes you should avoid? Jeremy. I don't even know how to answer that question. That's not a useful question. When presenting any presentation, what are the key mistakes to avoid? Speak clearly, speak passionately, take your time, relax, 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 relax. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Those are the key mistakes you should avoid. You don't breathe. You get nervous. If you're nervous, you can't do well. Okay? If you speak too quickly, you get more nervous. Slow down. People will start to not be interested if you go too fast. So you have to slow down sometimes. Okay? But, Jeremy, that's still very general. It's very general. An American once told you there is a difference in pronunciation between S-U-N and S-O-N. Well, he would be wrong. Sun and sun. No, there is no difference in the pronunciation of S-U-N and S-O-N. My son is under the sun. It is the exact same. You're a bit confused with assertive, interrogative, imperative, exclamatory, optative. Assertive means confident. Interrogative means questions. You're asking questions. Imperative means it's important. This is imperative. Okay, exclamatory means, hey, over here. We need this now. Do it. Those are exclamations. Optative. I don't even know where you saw that, but that's not useful. Relating to a denotion of a mood in verbs in Greek. Those are wishes, but we never call it that. We never say optative. Those means options, like possibilities. Okay, wishes. Okay? A verb in the optative mood. This is why English grammar sucks, because, all of those words that you just said, you didn't need to use any of them. To be assertive means to be confident. To be interrogative means to ask questions. To be imperative means it's important. To be exclamatory means you're excited about something. And to be optative means wishes. Okay? Like options of choices in the future, possible choices. But it's just silly that nobody should use those words. Not even teachers. No. Son and son are exactly the same. Listen to me. My son, my son, my son. The son, the son, the son. No, there is no difference. And it's even stupid to think about. Let's say that there is a difference. Let's say there is one. Does it matter? It doesn't. There is no situation where you should be confused. Okay? Many Chinese people like me, I'm very poor in spoken English, but I can write and understand. Yeah, I know. Those are most of my students, Jay. And again, maybe it could be because you're poor in hearing, but most of the people I teach from China, they can write, they can read, they can speak so-so, and they can listen. Their speaking is the problem, but their real problem is they can't think in English. They learned how to do reading, writing, listening, and speaking, but they never learned how to do thinking in English. If you can't do that, then you can't. How to politely interrupt somebody's conversation? Can I say, sorry to interject? Yes, you can. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Can I interject? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interrupt, interject, 都可以，随便，一样的，差不多。Assertive might be decisive in expression. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's confident. Assertive means you're confident. Okay? You only have 16 minutes? 16 minutes? What? I thought you guys had hours. An hour or something. I thought it was 60 minutes. I don't know. Mike, those are different. Sun, S-U-N, son, S-O-N, those two are the same. Song, ong, ong, ong. It's like the Bapa Muffa. Ong. It's very similar to the Bapa Muffa ong, right? Bapa Muffa datanala, right? Ang, right? Or no, ang, ing. I can't remember. I've forgotten. No, that's bad. I need to go back and learn my Bapa Muffa again. I'm fine, Huang. How are you? What time is it? I need to go. Oh, Jesus. I've been here for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I've been here too long. Should you focus on accent or not? You should focus on accent if your accent is terrible. If your accent is pretty good, then no, don't worry about it. What's the difference between capabilities and possibilities? Capabilities are things that you are capable to do, right? So you have the capability. It means you have the capability. Let's look at that word. Let's look at the etymology of that word. Wait a minute. Capable. Capable comes from the Latin word capax, which means able to hold much or roomy or wide, all right? So let me think about my words for a moment. So capable is usually talking about abilities. Possible is usually talking about choices, right? So it's possible we'll have time to go to the movie this weekend. It's possible, okay? Are you capable to drive us there? That means, do you have the skill? Are you able to, right? Do you have the ability to drive us there, right? So possibilities are talking about choices of options, and capabilities are talking about things that you can or cannot do, that you do or do not have the ability to do, okay? Let's see. The words M-E-E-T and M-E-A-T, they are the same sound. Yes, Zach. Meet, M-E-E-T, and let's meet and eat some meat. Let's meet and eat some meat. They are the same. Yeah. Yes, and son, S-U-N, and S-O-N are homophones. That's correct. Should you study grammar or not? You should, yes. But you just need to remember that life is not a grammar test. Olgi, grammar is like your kitchen table. Okay, if you have a table in your kitchen, you clean it every day, right? It's never finished. You always have to clean it, right? That's like grammar. You're never really finished. Just keep working on it. Just clean the table every day. Just polish it a little bit. Just keep building it. Keep working on it. Okay? Carlos, I can ask for you maybe and see if they tell me something. Thank you, Maggie. And I do need to go soon. How can you speak English? How can you spontaneously speak? Jubair, you need to practice more. Okay? If you want to be good at something, then you must do it a lot. If you ride a bike and you're good at riding a bike, how did you get good? If you swim and you're good at swimming, how did you learn how to be good at swimming? You have to do it more. No, you don't need to speak like me. You just need to be clear. Okay? Possible, Stavros, means it is a possibility. It means that option could happen. It could. You could do it. It's possible. Okay? So impossible can't be done. Okay? I can't pick you up from school. It's impossible. I'm too busy. I can pick you up from school. It's possible. I'll find time. Okay? And hello from Athens. Does the order of adjectives change the meaning of a sentence? Raphael, give me an example, maybe. If you can give me an example, I'll tell you about that. When do you use do and does? Do, I do, you do, I do, you do, we do, they do. I do, you do, we do, they do. He does, she does, it does. I am, you are, he is. Okay? And again, that's a perfect question to ask for ChatGPT. Just ask that same question for ChatGPT and then say, please explain the grammar and give me examples. Just ask ChatGPT. It will explain everything for you. Okay? The best way to work on your English is to contact with Irish or Scottish people? Ooh, I don't know about that. Stavros. The Scottish accent is definitely considered to be... I'm half Irish, Stavros. My mother's family comes from Ireland. Ireland, yes. Top of the morning to you, right? There's a certain accent they have, right? Mine's terrible, but the point is those are non-standard accents, and you know that, Stavros. I love the Irish accent. I love the Scottish accent. Scottish. It's Scottish. But those are not standard. I think you're joking, though, maybe. Speaking with me during my live streams, I'm not fluent, but I'm relaxed. I'm feeling it recently after 2 months. So just keep doing it. You'll get there. Okay? Guys, sometimes I answer these questions. So, Jaffer, I already answered that question 3 times today. So if you want the answer to that question, here's what I would like you to do. Okay? I don't want to answer that question a 4th time. Go watch my YouTube channel. You can watch this video today, and I answered that question already several times today. Okay? So just go watch the video as soon as I'm finished here. Okay? And I need to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Amin. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the United States. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, sure. That's true, Stavros. Stavros, just recently, I was in Madrid. I went to Madrid, and I was standing in line to go to the Prado Museum, right? And behind me, there was a guy who started talking to me. He was Scottish. And I'll be honest with you, I have talked to people in every country in the world. I have talked to people with every accent in the world. And when I talked to this guy, it was the most difficult experience of listening I've ever had in my life. His accent was awesome, but man, it was really hard. It was really hard to understand. So much slang, and the pronunciations were really hard, and he spoke really fast. It was hilarious. I mean, I'm an English teacher, but even I was like, what? What are you saying? It was funny. But you're right. You're right. If you can understand somebody from Ireland or from Scotland, you'll be fine. And I don't mean that to say anything bad about the Irish or the Scottish. I'm part Irish, right? Okay, I love both cultures very much, but the specific way they speak is a very beautiful thing, but not something everybody can understand. Okay? The YouTube link is right here. Okay? Follow me, and then when I'm finished here, this will be uploaded very soon. Okay? This will be uploaded very, very soon. All right, I need to go now, too. It has been almost 3 hours. But, by the way, here is my website. If you want private lessons, if you want lessons from me, you got to pay me, but you can go to my website and buy lessons from me, okay? I can help you. I don't know who you are, but whatever problems you have, if you get a lesson from me, I can help you, okay? So go check out my website and go check out my YouTube. And I'm here. I'll be back here again tonight at 9 p.m. my time, which is 9 a.m. Beijing time. All right? All right. They are awesome people and so friendly. Well, you know, not all of them. Just like anywhere, Stavros. We have good people and bad people everywhere, right? You know, nice people and rude people are everywhere, right? So, but, you know, I appreciate your feelings towards those, right? I try to be that way about everybody, though, man, you know? So, all right, guys, I have to go. But thank you for watching and listening and participating and following. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you live in the world. I will see you guys next time, okay? Bye.